Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're hopping on here soon. So we will get started here. It's 11 o'clock Central Time, and I am so excited to be joining all of you today and talking about one of my very, very favorite things in the world, which is the Lifelong Vitality Supplement. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Passini, and I am a Platinum Leader with doTERRA. I love educating people about natural ways to take control of their health, and I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And it is such a privilege to be here today and be able to share with you one of my favorite things in existence, and that is doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. So many people think that doTERRA is just an essential oil company, and they're really surprised to learn that the Lifelong Vitality Pack, is actually doTERRA's #1 selling product. But once people learn why they're so amazing and start experiencing the benefits for themselves, it's really no surprise at all. So I have been using these supplements for about 3.5 years now, and I truly feel that I was not even living before then, even though I had taken other allegedly top-notch supplements for years prior. And I always wondered if they were really doing anything for me. But when I started taking Lifelong Vitality, I noticed such a tremendous boost in my energy and my mental focus, which I had always struggled with. And my immune function was better, which was another challenge for me. And even my hair was growing faster and my nails were stronger. And so to this day, if I even miss a day or two of these supplements, I can tell an enormous difference. So for me, the transformation was so noticeable that my husband actually said to me, okay, get me a box of this stuff next month because I want to see if this actually works. And then he found that he also wasn't coming home from work completely exhausted by the end of the day, and that the seasonal irritations that he dealt with seemed to just vanish. And his he'd struggled with some upper digestive discomfort, and that too just seemed to go away, and he was hooked too. And so we wanted to just share this life-changing stuff with our close friends and our family that we knew needed it and that we knew could benefit so greatly from it. And we got to kind of one by one see the people that we love experience their own remarkable results. And so that passion has grown beyond just sharing it with our closest friends and family to really sharing it with the world. And so I'm excited now to today be able to share with you just why Lifelong Vitality is so amazing. And so that if you haven't tried it yet, you can begin to see those awesome benefits for yourself. Or if you're like many of us who are already in love with Lifelong Vitality, you'll understand just why you feel so incredible. So I'm going to switch it over now so that you can see the slides. Let me just share my screen real quick with you guys. All right, so this is our Lifelong Vitality Pack, and the goal is really to look, feel, live younger, longer, right? That's what we all want. So we are going to just first kind of start by looking at our overall health, okay, a wellness lifestyle. And, you know, I'm not here to tell you today that there's some magic pill that's going to fix everything, right? But there are a lot of things that we can do to actively influence the health that we experience. So our overall wellness and vitality is intertwined with a lot of different factors, including first and foremost, our nutrition and our weight management, physical activity, rest and stress management, exposure to toxins, and to some extent, inherited genetic predispositions. But what we are finding is that there's not a ton that's actually beyond our complete control. And there are many ways that we can strongly influence those factors of aging and wellness. And so what I've always loved about doTERRA is that we're not just an essential oil company, but a true wellness company, and they give us ways to support ourselves on each level of this pyramid through the essential oils and the wellness products that are infused with the essential oils. And so the Lifelong Vitality Pack really is the one product that encompasses all of this. I feel that it helps support our bodies in all of these ways and is truly the ultimate foundation to that complete wellness that we desire. So many people ask if we really need supplements in the first place, because if you're nutritionally conscious and you're eating well, shouldn't that be enough? Well, I would love for every meal I eat to look like this one in the picture. The last time I checked, very few people live in a world where we're able to consistently live this way and get everything our bodies can benefit most from in our food alone. And even if we take great measures to eat a rainbow of foods every single day, there is growing concern that the lack of nutrients is happening even in the health foods that we choose, let alone factoring in our reliance on processed and convenience foods that we can sometimes turn to. So even with the nutritional choices we make, it's very wise to give your body supplementation to ensure that you're receiving that full spectrum of the nutrients that your body may either be somewhat deficient in or even lacking entirely. So there's also a second concern nowadays, as what we're finding is that many of the supplements that companies are putting out in the market are trying to pack way too much into a little pill. So research now shows us that mega dosing on vitamins and minerals is not only ineffective, but can actually be harmful to our bodies, sometimes even more so than not getting enough of what we need, which you would most often see with like your standard vitamin you'd grab at the store. So you can see on the left how the typical grocery store supplements are kind of at one end of the spectrum of maybe not giving us enough of what we need and still loading up on some of the other nutrients. And it just leaves us, again, unbalanced. It's not what's going to be best for our body. And then you can see in the middle this kind of mega vitamin 2.0 approach that leaves us at the other end of excess. And that can create all kinds of issues in our body as far as toxicity and blocking absorption of other vitamins, and it can leave us in a big mess too, and obviously unbalanced. So the need for a multivitamin to instead land us in that optimal zone by giving us just the right amount of nutrients that match a proper diet is necessary now more than ever. And thankfully, doTERRA took a very revolutionary 3.0 approach and formulated Lifelong Vitality to give us just the right balance that we truly need. So this is the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and you can see here the three components of it and a little bit of an overview of what the main benefits are of each one. And we're going to go into each one of these supplements individually and explore more in depth what the benefits, how each of them work and what's in them. And I will note, if you have a really sharp eye, you may notice that some of the bottles might look a little different, and they actually enhanced the formulas just 2 weeks ago. So that's exciting for me today to be able to share with you the exciting updates that have been made and how they're better than ever. So when we take these supplements have actually been studied and shown to provide this whole host of benefits that's listed here. So, and the reason that's possible is because when we give our body what it needs and that right internal environment is created, our body has incredible self-restoring capabilities. And so we are able to experience amazing results by our bodies getting that optimal nutrition and everything it needs really deep down at that cellular level. And I like to start with that kind of foundation of nutrition, which is why we're going to start off talking about the Microllex VMZ, Food Nutrient Complex. So this is that one that gives you essential vitamins and essential minerals, but it's a lot more than just a vitamin. So Microllex stands for, it's a combination of micronutrient and complex. The VM stands for the vitamins and minerals it contains, and the Z indicates improvements that have been made to the original formula. So this is the supplement facts. They're a little hard to read, but they're over there on the right. So you can see everything that's in them. And we're going to talk about what makes it so different. So this is going to give you 22 essential vitamins and bioavailable minerals that have been really carefully formulated to give you those optimal levels of the key micronutrients that support our cellular growth and immune function, our energy production, and maintaining our healthy cells. And these are classified as essential vitamins because our bodies can't produce them on its own in sufficient quantities to sustain life. So we have to obtain these from our diet. And as far as our bodies are concerned, these supplements are as good as actual food to them. So this is going to provide us with benefits like bone health with the calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D. It's going to support healthy immune function, supports healthy digestion. It's giving us antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and E, an energy complex of B vitamins. There's a very balanced blend of minerals, including natural coral calcium, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium, and other chelated minerals. And we'll talk about why chelation is important in a moment. It has natural forms of vitamin E, different forms of them to make sure that our body responds correctly to them. And what I love is this contains true folate. If you notice, it's got folate in it that's sourced from a lemon peel, and that's different than folic acid, which is synthetic. And so I encourage you to do your research on folate versus folic acid, and all of this is whole foods based, and so it's not synthetic. All of these vitamins and minerals are sourced from natural whole sources, so our body is able to recognize that just like real food. It even has a whole foods blend of amazing superfoods like kale, dandelion leaf, kelp, and all kinds of greens. And I don't know if you're like me, but I always used to struggle with kind of some yucky feeling stomach. Supplements just kind of seem to sit like a rock in my stomach, and they would upset me sometimes. And I don't have that with these because it includes a tummy tamer digestive blend with peppermint and ginger and caraway. So they're not going to upset your stomach either. And they're made with sodium lauryl sulfate free, vegetable-based capsules. They don't contain any milk or wheat products. They are considered gluten-free. And so that is really, really amazing. And you can see all the great stuff that is in them there. So we're going to talk for a second about some of the things you might see, like chelated minerals, and you might see here this glycoprotein matrix and be thinking, well, what the heck is that? So we want to talk about bioavailability. So that's important when you're taking a supplement. If you're taking a nutritional supplement, it's important that that nutrients are recognized as food, broken down and absorbed like food. And if you've ever taken a standard vitamin, you may have noticed that you seem to excrete most of it, and you really are literally wasting away your money because you're getting about 8% absorption of that synthetic. But compare that with doTERRA's natural whole foods based blend, and that availability that your body's getting jumps to upwards of 90%. And they accomplish that in a couple different ways. First, those minerals in the Microllex VMZ have been combined with amino acids to create complexes known as those chelated minerals, and that enhances bioavailability. And then the chelated minerals are balanced with each other, including iron and the zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, chromium. So your body's actually able to get the proper benefit from them. And then there's also something called a glycoprotein matrix that enhances the bioavailability. So you have the nutrients, and then when you pair them with a nutritional yeast, which is a good yeast that is cultured, it's not bad yeast, it's just like good bacteria. There's no candida or gluten issues with this. It's actually recognized as a dietary protein, and your body then can assimilate it properly. So again, this is helping it actually your body absorb it and use it and not just excrete it out. The other thing that makes this really amazing is that there is a digestive enzyme delivery system within these. And what that does is by having these digestive enzymes, it helps your body break down all those components and the foods that we're eating along with it to derive the most nutritional value from them and absorb more effectively to convert those nutrients into energy. So you can see the enzymes that are a part of the Microllex VMZ and kind of what they assist in breaking down. Some of them are multifunction. They might serve to break down starches and sugars, like maybe just kind of aid in overall digestion. So this is very, very complete, and hopefully now you can understand why the Microllex BMZ is not only packed full of one-of-a-kind amazingness, but that your body is actually able to get. It receives all of that goodness in a way that no other vitamin can provide. So the Microllex BMZ is formulated to work in pairing with the next supplement, Z Omega, for that optimal level of foundational health. So Z Omega stands for your EOs, or essential oils that are within this complex, and your omegas. So some people think, oh, hey, omegas, yeah, fish oil, I take that. But this is well beyond your typical fish oil supplementation, which with a much wider spectrum of health benefits. So omegas are actually essentially fatty acids, which just like essential vitamins are called essential because they are necessary to sustain us, but can't be produced alone by our bodies. And therefore, we rely on the food we eat to supply those important nutrients. So most people think of fish being a great source of essential fatty acids, but we also have to kind of limit the quantity, right, that we intake of that because of concerns with pollutions and contaminants and things like that. But the omega fatty, or the essential fatty acids, give us this whole range of benefits, including supporting our brain health, our heart and circulatory health, our joint function and comfort, optimal immune system function, our mental functioning, protecting our eyes and our nervous system function, and just lots of other benefits. So the most common ones that people are familiar with are the fatty acids omega-6 and omega-3. And we get a lot of omega-6s from our diets, but a 1-to-1 ratio of these omegas is ideal for our body to have a normalized inflammatory response and kind of optimum human health. But because of that overabundance of omega-6 fatty acids found everywhere in our modern diet, our typical Western diet ratio is as high as 20-to-1, and the average is 16-to-1. So that's really thrown us off, and that disruption is linked to all kinds of poor health, like reduced mood and cognitive function, and contributes to the progression of a lot of the kind of ongoing non-communicable health issues, since the omega-6s have that pro-inflammatory effect, and we know that inflammation is the trigger of root cause of so many disruptions within our bodies. So what the Z Omega does is provide you the healthy omegas, and that helps restore the balance between the omega-3 and the omega-6 fatty acids, and that's a very important step in keeping your body healthy. So that is accomplished through an ultra-pure marine and land-based formula, which each provide very reliable and consistent sources of those omega-3 fatty acids. So this starts out with the marine-based sources, and that gives us EPA and DHA, which are extremely important to every cell in our body. And the EPA and DHA are very balanced. What you'll find in a lot of other supplements is that it's unbalanced, or it doesn't give you exactly what you need. So these really exceed what you would find in typical fish oil supplementation. And it comes from renewable sources of anchovy, sardine, and mackerel from the Humboldt Current in the Pacific Ocean. So it's a very clean and certified sustainable source. And every single batch is tested free of over 250 contaminants. And then we move on to the plant-based sources of our omegas, which come in the form of ALA, SDA, and GLA. And this is sourced from the amazing Echium seed plant, which the body can convert the ALA and SDA to the EPA and DHA, but that conversion rate is kind of variable among individuals. So that's why it's important to have the range of the different kinds of omegas so that your body has everything it needs to be able to convert it in its own most beneficial way. It's also worth noting that the rare omega-5s are actually in this blend as well, that's derived from the pomegranate extract. And so this is a really, you can see just from the top part of just the omegas, and we're only talking omegas, there's actually more to the supplement, but I want to point out really quickly that there is also a 100% vegan version of this available. So the other two supplements are already considered vegan. However, the difference between the V Omega and the Z Omega is that it's 100% suitable for a vegan lifestyle. And instead of those marine-based sources of the fish oil, the V Omega replaces that with a blend of flaxseed, algae, Inca inchi seed, borage, cranberry, pumpkin, and then the pomegranate still in there, and the grapeseed oils. It still has the rest of the things we'll talk about, which is the carotenoid blend and the essential oil blend, and it's only $10 more, and you can see how much you get from that. So if that is something you're striving to have more of a vegan lifestyle, then that's a great option for you. So you also may have noticed, if you've seen these supplements before, you may have noticed that they're red, and that's like you probably haven't seen a red fish oil before, and that's because of an amazing thing called astaxanthin. So what astaxanthin is a very powerful antioxidant carotenoid extracted from microalgae, which is cultivated in pure water, a pure water system, and it's activated by light. So then in response to the UV exposure, the microalgae produces a compound called astaxanthin, which is a defense mechanism against oxidation, and it turns that from a light green to a deep crimson red. And then it's microfiltered and standardized for potency, and along with the natural vitamin E, to provide a whole host of benefits, including protecting against lipid oxidation in our brain and throughout our circulatory system. It really supports our eye health. It helps improve muscle strength and endurance. It aids our liver and digestive system. It supports skin health. It gives kind of those protective benefits that from that UV exposure from the inside out, and it promotes healthy immune function. And then the blend also contains, if you noticed on the nutritional label, it also contains other carotenoid antioxidants in the form of lutein and zeaxanthin from marigold flower and lycopene from tomato fruit. So that is all furthering that neuroprotective, circulatory, and eye health benefits. And that's a pretty amazing thing. So you can Google astaxanthin too and look that up and entertain yourself if you're a huge science nerd like me. Third, and what I really feel gives the supplement its superpower, is the blend of 9 incredibly beneficial essential oils that includes clove, frankincense, they're very powerful antioxidant nature, and they actually function as a natural preservative system that protects those essential fatty acids from oxidation and rancidity. And in addition, because of what we know about essential oils' fat-soluble nature and their ability to permeate our fat-soluble membranes like our cells, the addition of the essential oils actually make those fatty acids 10 times more bioavailable to our bodies. So again, you're not going to get that in a standard fish oil supplement. In fact, if you break open a capsule of fish oil into a glass of water and shake it up, it's just all going to float to the top because the oil and water don't mix. But if you open up a capsule of the Z Omega and squirt it into a glass of water and shake it up, it actually emulsifies and turns that whole glass of water pink, because again, it's able to really absorb into our bodies. So that's a really cool visual experiment to do. So in addition to the tremendous benefits these oils have just by themselves alone, imagine how powerful they are at assisting to transport all of those other vital nutrients and minerals deep down at that cellular level. And another thing that having these oils, especially the peppermint in there, does is it negates those fish burps. So if you've ever taken a fish oil supplement, a lot of people buy burpless ones because you get some pretty unpleasant effects from them. And you're, again, not going to have that unpleasantness with these. So the addition of the essential oils to these supplements truly creates a synergy between that Microllex BMZ and the Z Omega that really can't be found anywhere else. So the two supplements we just talked about, the Microllex BMZ and the Z Omega or V Omega, are sometimes referred to as the daily nutrient pack. They have been expertly formulated to work in harmony, to give us no more and no less than what we need every day for that ideal level of foundational health. And I hope you see now why no simple fish oil and multivitamin supplement can even come close, not even close, to these two. However, when we add this third rock star into the mix, that is what creates the lifelong vitality pack and takes us beyond just that daily nutrition our body needs into really inside out wellness and vitality that is just radiant like none other. So Alpha CRS, alpha means first or foremost, CRS stands for cellular renewal system, and the plus sign reflects improvements that have been made to the product since it was first launched. Alpha CRS is really designed to give us four main benefits, which are antioxidant support, increased energy, raise your hand if you couldn't use more of that, and building the immune system and improved mental clarity. So let's talk for a minute about cellular health, because I feel like that can be kind of an elusive term. So cells are the basic building blocks of all life. So our healthy tissues, healthy organs, and ultimately healthy organisms depend on cellular reproduction, those cells being able to properly carry out their specialized functions, produce energy, and promote timely cell death or apoptosis when those cells are no longer functioning at their optimal level, so that we can, again, reproduce and regenerate more. But as we age, our cellular function kind of naturally starts to deteriorate, and we start to feel old, and we notice a decrease in our energy, maybe a decrease in performance. And in addition, we are bombarded with stressors in our everyday lives to our cells, such as free radicals, and those challenge our cellular health. So I'm going to quick dive into what a free radical is. So what they are scientifically is unstable molecules with one or more unpaired electrons. An easy way to think of this is an atom inside of you that has just gone to the dark side. It is taken its little unpaired electron, it's out there wreaking havoc, scavenging for another electron to pair with from a stable molecule. And when it grabs onto that and steals it away from the stable molecule, then that molecule also becomes unstable, and the cycle continues. And that contributes to something called oxidation in our bodies. And if you think of oxidation, it's just like rusting, right? How cars oxidize, things rust. So our bodies are literally rusting with every breath we take. 3% of every time we breathe yields free radicals in our body. That obviously is going to accelerate that inflammation or the oxidation, and then the oxidation increases inflammation, which again contributes to the aging, disease, injury process. And we are exposed to these free radicals in a lot of different ways, like sunlight, radiation, pollution, all of the environmental toxins that are all around us, smoking, which is one of the very most damaging. And even stress, just us being stressed out, or sickness, can create those negative charges in our bodies. So it's not something that we can escape, but there is something that we can do about it and protect ourselves and aid our bodies from the inside out. And that is where antioxidants come in, right? So that's, now you probably understand why they're called antioxidants, because these are stable molecules with one or more electrons to share. So they are basically that superhero that neutralizes the rogue atom. So we can get antioxidants different way, primarily exogenous from our food or like our supplements that we take. And we can make them to some extent in our body, but they're very short-lived and they're utilized very quickly in metabolic processes. And so we kind of want to focus on getting them into our body so that our body can have the amounts that it needs. So what is cool first and foremost about Alpha CRS is that it gives us this awesome polyphenol blend. So polyphenols is basically a nickname for turbocharged antioxidants. And you can see all the potent polyphenols here that protect our cells from that free radical damage and that damage to our cellular DNA and all of our critical cell structures. So this is amazing. This is like the Dr. Oz of all supplements. You may notice a lot of these terms like the resveratrol, the turmeric, and pineapple, and all these things that we know to be very anti-inflammatory and have this great neutralizing and soothing effect on our bodies. And so this is literally providing powerhouse support to the very building blocks of your entire physical being and encouraging that healthy inflammatory response. So you will notice a tremendous benefit in your overall physical health and things that you might be dealing with, that once that internal environment is created where the body can kind of help to repair itself. So that's first and foremost, it gives us that cellular longevity, right? That cellular vitality. The second main benefit of the Alpha CRS that I love is energy. So all of us, that's the number one complaint I hear. That was my main struggle when I first started using these supplements. I have some kind of weird ongoing health stuff that's always really caused me to feel exhausted my entire life. And so I was always struggling with energy. And within our cells, we have these tiny little structures called mitochondria. And if you want to go back to like 8th grade, biology with me here for a second, think of these as your body's little power plants. Okay, so in these little power plants called mitochondria, we take food molecules and oxygen, and they are combined to produce chemical energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. So basically ATP is energy, okay? That's what gives your body energy. But as we age, the number of mitochondria per cell and their output efficiency, both of those things decline. So that can result in decreased energy, both mentally and physically. But Alpha CRS contains safe ingredients that support mitochondrial function for natural energy production. So there's no stimulants or caffeine or unwanted side effects or a bunch of sugar and stuff like that. So this is going to give you the energy you need without the withdrawal symptoms or the crash. And again, it's going to help you naturally feel better from the inside out. So it does that by having some different amino acids in it. It has quercetin, which provides very powerful antioxidant protection and other cell structures. The coenzyme Q10 is very important for energy production. It also supports heart health. The alpha lipoic acid supports the production of ATP and acts as a very powerful antioxidant, protect those cells, to protect your mitochondria so they're not damaged. The acetyl L-carnitine helps shuttle fatty acids into the mitochondria for that energy production, and the ginkgo biloba helps support mental clarity and function. So again, for me, when I started taking these, I felt like, oh my gosh, all this brain fog has just lifted, and it was really, truly amazing. So those are the 3 components of lifelong vitality. And so those give us some amazing benefits. And there are actually people who have gone and tried to individually at health food stores purchase all those components, right, that are in the lifelong vitality supplements that give you general wellness and vitality, antioxidant and DNA protection, energy metabolism, bone health, immune function, stress management, cardiovascular health, healthy hair and skin and nails, eye, brain, and nervous system support, liver function, digestive health, lung and respiratory health that are going to be gentle on your stomach. These are all, the Lifelong Vitality is non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, it's even vegan. So I think it's pretty amazing that doTERRA was able to combine all these things for only $79.50. That's absolutely beyond any value that I could place a number on. And they are so confident that this will not only meet but exceed expectations for quality and performance, that they offer to refund the full purchase amount even if you take the entire 30-day supply. So because these are formulated to be taken together, all 3 of these, to give our bodies all those benefits we talked about, and they're intended for daily use, they have a way, if you are a wholesale member through doTERRA, that you can purchase these at a discount and save yourself $69 for a pack. And you also can customize them. So I never saw this as another bill or a burden, because it has saved us in so many other ways that it's beyond worth it. But we are individuals, right? So We might have some additional needs depending on what's going on with us. We might want a little extra digestive support. We might want even more energy. We might want to support our joint comfort and health, additionally, if that's a concern for us. Or if you notice in the bottom right, we want to give our kids this good stuff too, right? And so they actually have a chewable little mini lifelong vitality in the form of the kids vitamins, chewables, and then the liquid omegas, they're so important for our kids developing brain health. And so we can get all of these things at a significant discount, because doTERRA recognizes that this is a consistent thing. And so they want to aid you in a way that is going to facilitate you being able to take these consistently and really see the benefit from it. So if you're a little bit new to this, or you're not quite sure how to get your hands on this or figure this out, be sure to touch back with the person who invited you to this webinar, so that they can help you and walk with you in your wellness journey and really advocate for your best health and help you figure out what's going to be right for you. So I will just close up here with a few frequently asked questions that I encounter. Number one is usually, how do I take these? So ideally you want to take them right before or like right with a full meal. Okay, that's going to give you the best benefit. And remember, the digestive enzymes that are in there too are going to help you process the food that you're eating even better. And so a full dose of these supplements, which is appropriate for most adults, is 4 of each daily. And so that would look like, it's best to split those up into AM and PM doses. So you'd be taking 2 of each in the morning and 2 of each maybe with an afternoon snack or dinner or something like that. And some people are like, well, that sounds like a lot of pills. But you have to think, this is not a pressurized condensed rock of synthetic junk like you would find at a store. It is essentially super ground up whole foods crammed into these capsules to give you everything you need. And you want to spread them out throughout the day so that it gives your body what it needs and how it needs it. Just like we don't eat food once a day and call it all good, taking a once daily vitamin is really not doing much of anything for you, and again can actually do you more harm than good depending on what's in it. So also people say, well, how long until I feel different? And obviously we talked about consistency and frequency being key, right? These are intended for daily use, and optimal benefit is going to be achieved through consistent use over a period of time. But that period of time may vary per person. For me personally, I felt totally different, completely different within the first 2 weeks. And I have a lot of friends and family members and acquaintances who can say the same exact thing. But just remember that each person's unique and has individual needs. So, and there is that 30-day money-back guarantee. So the time needed to feel its effects can be different for each person. I recommend really committing to it, and not even just for the month, but it's really ideal if you can commit to it for 3 or 4 months, because you are going to literally change in that time period. It takes about 120 days for our red blood cells to replenish and kind of turn over. So if you want to think, and our white blood cells can kind of sometimes last for up to a year or longer. So if you think of, you can literally a year from today feel like a completely different person than you are feeling like right now. So this is a really great introduction into your daily life if you are already doing it. I can't imagine my life without them. And so I hope that this has been valuable for you. Again, that if you're not using these yet, that you start and get back in touch with that person who helps you with your with doTERRA and ask them more about this. And if you are already using them, that now you understand just why it's so amazing. So I am going to see if I can stop the screen share, and if I have any questions or answers, or I'm sorry, I can give answers to questions before we go here. So yes, so I have a comment from one person that says, several people told me that they felt good while taking them the first month, but if you stop taking them, that's when you really notice how bad you feel comparatively. And I can definitely attest to that, because sometimes life gets busy and you're like, oh, I forget a dose or two. And yes, yeah, it's a huge difference. Another person says, let's see. I'm just scrolling through the questions here. Okay, so some people had asked about how many a day to take, because you probably noticed that from the supplement fact labels, and it does seem like a lot, but again, um, it is definitely, there's a reason why it's meant to be taken that. So 2 from each twice a day, and me personally, whether I'm taking 1 pill twice a day or 17 pills twice a day, it's just something you have to remember to do a couple times a day. I like setting my phone, like an alarm or reminder on my phone too, to help with that as well. So a lot of people say worth every cent, changed my life. Um, if you do not like taking pills, you would be, I actually have a friend who's very much the same way. She found that kind of taking them with warm or room temperature water, kind of one at a time, she gets enough benefit from them that she kind of got over that, not wanting to take pills. Another person says, hey, I hated taking pills, but these have no smell or aftertaste. They don't sit heavy on your stomach. So you shouldn't have those issues that you have taking pills. You actually can, though, if there's a reason. Sometimes physically there may be a reason that people can't take a pill. And so you could use the kids' vitamins. You could use the chewables and the liquid omegas. You would just have to kind of double the amount that you would take. So that's another option for you. And yeah, so somebody said, is the Lifelong Vitality Pack the best thing to start with? I'm going to say yes. So sometimes people ask me, what's the one oil you couldn't live without? And that's really hard for me to say. But if there's one product that I can't live without, it's absolutely Lifelong Vitality. And I firmly believe that every single person can benefit from it. And every single person really needs this in their life. And that's part of why I do what I do, to share this knowledge with people and help people live their very best lives and be able to experience life and feel the best they can every single day. So another person said, I was told by someone to never start with the full dose. How do you determine that? So there's a reason that for an average adult, around 150 pounds, more or less, that's pretty appropriate to do the 4 of each. However, it can be individual needs, and depending on the level of health that we're starting at, that can factor into things as well. Just like if you never are used to drinking green smoothies and you start juicing and drinking a bunch of juice, you might notice some effects. Conversely, if you eat super healthy and you go and grab some fast food, it's probably not going to make you feel that great. So take that into consideration when you're determining where to start, and work really closely with the wellness advocate that is supporting you in your doTERRA journey, because we have this whole community of support. If there is, for some reason, any unpleasantness at all associated with it, because there should not be. You should not experience anything but amazing positive results from these. So again, that's why I recommend always taking them with food, making sure you're drinking plenty of water. That can be another big culprit, especially with a little bit of lemon oil mixed in with it. That's going to help, again, facilitate that flushing out of toxins and things that might be being stirred up from all of this good stuff getting in your body. Finally, it's going to try to get the bad stuff out, maybe. And then the other thing is, if you still are just not quite feeling like that's right for you, feel free to reduce the amount. You could take it down to a half dose, where you're only taking 1 of each in the morning and 1 of each in the afternoon. And if that feels good, then you can work up to that full dose. I also have some really petite people on my team that are like less than 100 pounds, and they find that they really only need 2 or 3 a day to feel everything that they need to feel and see the benefit of them. So another person said, yeah, they noticed it seemed to help them with their appetite. And I've kind of noticed that side benefit too, that it really, sometimes you have some unexpected side benefits. Like maybe you're like, oh, I just released a bunch of pounds. What happened there? So that's a really fun thing that I hear a lot with the supplements too. So I don't see any more questions. Again, if you have questions, you can reach out to me personally. Again, Rachel Passini. I love talking about these, so I'm always happy to answer questions and or connect with the person who's supporting you in doTERRA. So I am so thankful. Thanks again for joining us today. And this replay will be available for 72 hours. So share it with people if you haven't, that you feel like can benefit from this information. And we will see you all next Wednesday on our continuing summer education series. Thanks a lot.